Today on Locked On Rockies, daydreaming of Shohei in purple, a former Rockies impact on this series, and bad news if you were hoping to see Zac Veen at 20th and Blake this year.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 23rd day of June in the year 2023. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. If your team is the Colorado Rockies, well, guess what? You're in the right spot. That's what we do around here is talk about the Colorado Rockies each and every day here on your favorite streaming service on the Sirius XM app and Sirius XM radio. You can also be part of the show. You can tell us what you think about the Colorado Rockies when you subscribe to the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel and be part of our live chat. When you subscribe, you'll know when we go live, and then you can hop in and be part of the live chat. Shout outs to all my everyday listeners out there, my everydayers, as we like to call them here at the network. Today on Locked On Rockies, we're going to do a little daydreaming about Shohei Ohtani, and I'm going to kind of wax poetic about him a little bit because I simply think he is the most exciting thing in all of baseball. A bummer that the Rockies fans, I guess, don't get to see him pitch this weekend, but maybe not necessarily a bummer for the Rockies themselves. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a former Rocky having an impact on this series. And something that came out of nowhere yesterday, but was absolutely a bummer. Zac Veen done for the season with a lingering wrist injury that he had surgery on to fix, and that's apparently been nagging him for a long time. We'll mention that. We'll do a little preview as well. Folks, if you have not seen Shohei Ohtani play baseball yet, you must go. It's simply a matter of fact. You should not miss Shohei Ohtani at Coors Field. It is going to be a show. Maybe the Rockies hold them off, but looking at who Shohei is most likely going up against in the rotation, Shohei Ohtani is going to put on a show. He puts on a show not only during the game, but before the game as well. You can go and check out the batting practice of both him and Mike Trout. Remember that this is a team that has Mike Trout on it too, which is crazy to think about because it's the talent, but just between those two players it really can't be matched. It's crazy that you can bring up the postseason setup. You can mention all of that. Absolutely. It's fair criticism, but that's criticism of the Angels as a whole. Shohei Ohtani is the greatest thing to happen to baseball in a long time. For all of our lives, or at least my life, and even before, the idea of someone thriving and being dominant as both a pitcher and hitter was something that you could only do in video games. The fact that Shohei Ohtani is a real-life video game is nothing short of impressive. I mean, awe-inspiring. And on top of, I don't really want to dive. I think the issues with the Angels are not with those two players. It proves anything that it's a team game. It's a team composition game. The Rockies, not necessarily having that level of talent, but having great levels of talent, but not able to close the deal, seal the deal, especially when they had a chance to win the division down the stretch when they had arguably one of their best rosters of all time. But the thing is, Shohei should have been the MVP last year. Shohei should be the MVP this year. If Shohei Ohtani continues to lead his team and lead the league and be a top contributor on both sides of the ball, there is no more valuable player in baseball. It does not matter. If you can get top of the rotation production and top of your lineup production, that is a literal unicorn. There is absolutely no other word to describe him. I know he's been described that as before. He is amazing. What he's doing for the game and what the potential impacts of Shohei Ohtani can't be understated. There are absolutely someone or kids that are going to be inspired by what Shohei's doing. And I want to push back on the live chat here. Lux Ace hits me with the skull. 62 home runs and shouldn't be an MVP. I don't care. Can he pitch? Who is more valuable to their team? Who is the most valuable player in all of baseball? It is Shohei Ohtani. He is giving you top production on both ends of the ball. No one is doing that. No one has done it since Babe Ruth. No one in the game of baseball, no one in Major League Baseball is doing what Shohei's doing. I'm sorry. 62 home runs is impressive. Absolutely. But it's more impressive to hit 30 plus, have an amazing slash line, and be one of the best pitchers in baseball. Aaron Judge didn't break any records. He didn't. He's not a home run king. He didn't beat legitimately set records by people that hit more home runs than him. He was a Yankee that hit 62 home runs. Good for you, Aaron Judge. You broke a Yankees record. 62 home runs is an impressive feat. Absolutely. But it's way more impressive to me to continue to do what Shohei hasn't cooled off. The gimmick hasn't worn off. AL record. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about Aaron Judge's mostly fake home run record. I really don't care, because Shohei Ohtani is changing the entire game of baseball. Aaron Judge is falling short of what people have done in baseball before. Do what Barry Bonds did. Do what Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa did. And then pitch on top of that. It's no question that if Shohei Ohtani was on the Colorado Rockies, it would be one of the most insane things ever. He would arguably be one of the best pitchers this team has seen in a long, long time, if not going to immediately rank as one of the best. And then the possibilities. You saw that guy hit at the home run derby. I know it's the home run derby, but this environment would be prime for Shohei, because if Shohei could come in and succeed as a member of the Colorado Rockies on the bump, because we figure the offensive part will be the easy part if Shohei was a Rocky, right? But if he was able to come in and do what he's doing for the Angels in purple, the sky would be the limit. I mean, I think because the threat factor for Shohei is insurmountable. I mean, it is. I just am blown away. I literally never thought we would see someone like Shohei Ohtani. And when he came into the league, I thought it would work for a year. And I was with everyone else. He's going to have to pick one. But folks, he's so good. He's so good. He's got 48 strikeouts on the road. His ERA is a little high on the road, but he's currently sitting at a 6-3 record, 3.13 ERA, 117 strikeouts, and a 1.04 WHIP. And you compare that to current Colorado Rockies. Let's just go down the list here. We'll start with Chase Anderson, 0-1, 4.12, 27 Ks, 1.25 WHIP. Obviously, difference in innings pitched there. But just for an example, here we go. Kyle Freeland, 4-8, 4.48, 50 strikeouts, 1.34 WHIP. Shohei Ohtani has struck out 67 more batters than Kyle Freeland has struck out this year. Let's go down to Austin Gomber. 4-7, 7.25, 50 strikeouts, 1.64 WHIP. Shohei Ohtani is miles and miles and miles better and performing better than the Rockies pitching staff, all of them. And on top of it, is out hitting them at the same time. So when we daydream of the potentials of Shohei Ohtani, and when we watch him this weekend, we are reminded that that guy is one player doing more than most of the Rockies staff. And take that with a grain of salt, of course. But just think about that when you're thinking about impact players, when you're thinking about superstar level talent, when you're thinking about players you want to build around. Shohei would be the guy you'd give the Chris Bryant contract to. You make the Chris Bryant money available and go out and do that. If the Rockies were to go out and shock the world and bring Shohei here, which they won't, Shohei won't pitch at Coors. But the Rockies would become immediately better. immediately better. Shohei Ohtani, let's go. I want to get his, I got to dig around here because I'm only in the pitching stats here. I want to see who he's, I want to see more of his batting stats here. I'm only getting his, here we go. There we go. Designated hitter, full roster. It's so weird how, where you have to go. Where is he? There he is. Okay, Shohei Ohtani. Nope, still giving me just, here we go, stats. The pitching. It's still just the pitching stats. Come on. Yeah, okay, here we go. Shohei Ohtani, in 74 games, nearly 300 at-bats this year, is batting .292, .377, .616, and an OPS of .993. He has hit 24 home runs, driven in 58, walked 39 times, and has struck out 71. That is elite. That is better. Shohei Ohtani is a must-watch, and he should be over and over again the MVP, because there is no one in the game of baseball doing more for their team, doing more production as a baseball player than Shohei Ohtani. Plain and simple. And if he was on the Rockies, I bet that's a day one jersey buy right there. Never going to happen. But hey, you might be the guy. He might be the one that wants to, take on the next challenge, because it's a really interesting a mindset between the two. Or I wonder what it is. The differences between being a pitcher and being a hitter. Your philosophy, your mindset, and your approach is so different on those two things. I really do wonder how that goes through his head as he approaches because his contract's up this year, right? He's a free agent at the end of this season or next season, something like that. It's going to be really interesting, and I'd love to get an inside look at what it's like for him when he's making his decision process when it comes to picking teams and signing with them. Because I mean, you sign with the Angels. The biggest draw right there is LA and Mike Trout, right? It's not the success of the team. Shohei must have been intrigued by something. Who knows? Maybe he loves the mountains. Maybe he'll come here. Maybe he loves hitting at Coors enough that he'll be interested in giving the Rockies a shot. Let's talk about a former Rocky that's might have an impact on this game, but I haven't seen him appear in a game recently. But we'll talk about his return, and someone who we talked briefly a bit, and someone that certainly was going to help the Rockies, but I think you could tell the writing was on the wall with this player here. At the end of last season, we'll see what role he plays in this upcoming series. Rockies Angels getting underway this weekend. Really fun series, especially because when was the last time you probably saw the Angels play? Well, go check out Coors Field. Like I said, go see two of the best players in all of baseball. Do it up. I mean, being on the West Coast, I've had the chance to see both see the Angels, and I've gotten to see Shohei pitch and hit, and it's a delight. It is a really, really big delight for fans. But ran a little long there, so got to tell you about our friends here that help make this show possible, and some of the great folks that bring this show to you each and every day. I forgot to mention this episode is brought to you by Birddogs. Check out birddogs.com/lockedonmlb to get yourself a free Yeti-style tumbler with every order. And today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. If you want to go check out any of those Shohei prop bets, Austin Gomber's pitching on Sunday. That might be an interesting time to look at the Shohei home run prop bet. See all the betting action going on at FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook is your number one sports betting destination. It's America's number one sportsbook, and they got a deal for new customers right now. Get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to join today. Don't miss your chance to snag a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming service. We're on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. You can search Locked On Rockies or Rockies for all your play-by-play action. And you can find us on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the live chat, just like Lux Ace, who's trying to come out. Lux Ace counter punching me today in the live chat. That's what you can do if you want to fire back on my takes on the Rockies show, on the live show. You can hop into the live chat just like Lux Ace and Baseball Pig. Baseball Pig says, I don't know which rant I've enjoyed more, the Bryce Harper or Aaron Judge rant. I don't want to negate the greatness of those players. I really don't. I'm someone who Aaron Judge, it was impressive, but in the grand scope of things, we treated it like he was breaking the home run record last year, when in fact he wasn't. He was breaking an AL record. Does that really mean anything to you? As an NL West fan or as a baseball fan, I couldn't tell you who. I mean, I'm sure it's Barry Bonds or McGuire or Sosa, one of those ones, of course, with their record of the NL. I don't care about your AL record. I don't care about Yankee records, especially because that was the big focus of it for a bit. I care about more than that. And when there's a guy dominating on both sides of the ball, continuing to do something we've only seen one other guy do really and haven't seen someone do for generations of baseball, that will forever be more impressive to me. I'm just someone that's I was a little worn out by the Aaron Judge stuff. That's all I'm going to say. And again, you're more valuable to your team if you can pitch and hit than just hit. That makes you more valuable. That makes you that makes you a bigger MVP candidate to me. Let's talk about a different player and some different type of mindset here. And it's a bummer because you kind of saw the writing on the wall last year. Carlos Estevez wasn't going to be with the Rockies, but Carlos Estevez was improving and building and getting better and really showing some great stuff out of the bullpen last year. Someone that has certainly fought through some adversity, especially with his time on the Rockies. And now he's gone and been incredible, really, for the Angels this season. 19 saves, I believe. I was talking, we're going to hopefully do a crossover with Locked On Angels to recap the series there. 19 saves, I believe that is close or ties or breaks a franchise record there. 1.74 ERA, 40 strikeouts, and a whip of 1.19. He hasn't pitched since the 18th, but he's not on the injured list that I can see. So certainly is going to want to, I'm sure he's going to want to come out and close some ball games out if he's got an opportunity here for that one. But I mean, just look at it. He's got just about half of the amount of starts so far, appearances this year. And everything's way down, and his overall performance is up. His WAR is up by 0.4 points. Granted, again, there's still a second half of the season to play, but his whip is close to where it was last year to finish up the season. And he's got the ERA that's down almost nearly 2 points. Only 14 strikeouts away from reaching his total that he reached in 2022. The strikeout to walk ratio is a little bit better. The earned runs looks like to be on a much better pace, and the Angels are fully confident in him as a closer to win them ball games. As you can kind of, when you look at Estevez, especially that 2019 season was great for the Rockies. A little bit of a falter, but has been building back up since in the past couple of seasons. 0.4 WAR in 2021. 1.1 WAR in 2022, and now up to 1.5 here so far in 2023. I think that one's tough. I mean, I really do think the Rockies it could have been maybe a little more aggressive in getting Carlos Estevez, but with the way they move, with the waiver wire, with some of the things that they were able to pick up, maybe they weren't so convinced. But I don't know where I don't necessarily know where if a real deal was going to go through there with Estevez. But honestly, good to see. I mean, it's always a bummer when players leave the Rockies and do better, but it is cool to see when a player steps up, and you were certainly going to see Carlos Estevez be a factor in this series. As someone, former Rocky, former team, tough place to pitch, he's certainly going to want this opportunity to go up against his other team. And we'll see how the Rockies are able to respond, because when you're looking at the Angels' success, he is playing a role in it there, certainly. I mean, 19 saves already on the year. That's a career high already for him by 18, or not 18, I'm sorry, by 8 saves there. So he's doing well, and it's encouraging to see that the Rockies are able to get some people, but it's not encouraging that these good Rockies pitchers, former Rockies pitchers, are no longer on the Rockies. Estevez has been in the last 5 games he has appeared in for the Angels. They have ended up winning. They've won, especially in 3 big games against Texas. He played a role in there. Not as sharp as stuff there in that finale against Texas with the 3 walks there from Carlos Estevez. So we'll see what they can do. I mean, I think the big thing for the Rockies, if they can take advantage of, is to see if they can draw out some walks, see if they can get him to walk them and give them some free bases. But he is certainly a reason why the Angels are 41-35. That's a big turnaround for them this year too. When you're talking about potential, it's a second half. We're going to have to. The Rockies are going to have to come to play, because this is an Angels team that I think really wants to make a statement this year, and picking up a piece like Carlos Estevez is a good one. So we'll see how that factors into this series and see how it goes. Kind of interesting matchup, I think, between two teams here, two teams with interesting reputations, I think, going up in here. Luxay says Rockies got rid of Lamet today. Wasn't that a bit ago? Wasn't that like after his last appearance? Didn't they DFA him like right after the game? Or did he not clear? Or did he make it back to the minors today? I wasn't paying attention. The Dinelson Lamet experiment is over and failed. I mean, that I guess it wasn't failed because they didn't draft him or whatever. But I missed the mark on that call. I thought he was going to be more impactful and more effective for the Rockies. But that was it was tough. But Lamet. Nothing but the best for him as a player. Hope he lands on his feet. Hope he bounces back and gets himself back to MLB ready. Let's talk about another injury facing the Rockies, facing a Rockies young guy, and it's definitely going to change some of the ideas, at least for some fans who are hoping to see this young guy play this year for the Rockies. We'll talk about that coming up here in segment number 3. Want to thank you for making Locked On Rockies your first listen of the day, free and streaming on your favorite streaming service. We're also live on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the live chat, just like Kevin Greenhoe, who says, "Hi, Paul." I say, "Hi, Kevin." Good day to you as well. Earlier the live chat said, "What's up with the new set? I'm in the middle of moving, so unfortunately, you will see this for a bit, and then probably a little under construction set." And then another new look for Locked On Rockies here as I'm on the move yet again. So we'll be bringing out yet a new look, hopefully with, I have a more dedicated space instead of just in a corner of my bedroom here. More bad injury news for the Colorado Rockies as Zac Veen goes down for the year with an injury. But I guess the encouraging thing when I was reading about Zac Veen is the fact that he's been fighting through this for a while. And when you were looking especially at something like the power dip for Zac Veen, and it looks, you're concerned. But then when you hear how long he's been fighting this injury, which dates back apparently to the All-Star game of last year, he was trying to fight through it to impress. And with this season too, yes, it would have been great to see Veen out on the Rockies, but Veen's okay if he doesn't make a lot of noise, or if he doesn't do a lot of major league stuff at this level. Now we just got to hope he's healthy and be able to come up for the Rockies in the second half of next year, because I want recovery, rehab, and getting his skills and abilities up. And then he certainly needs to be able to bounce back and make an impact here. With the Rockies, because his time is going to be soon. Now it's getting even closer for Zac Veen. Certainly, if he was performing minor league level and staying healthy, there was a chance for him to make it up with this team this year, I think, in the second half. Now, not going to be the case, but I think they say December he'll be able to start doing baseball things again, hopefully. But we're keeping our eyes on that, because, man, Zac Veen can really bring some fun. He's someone that I think is going to embody Rockies baseball, embody the spirit of Rockies ball, and of course, use his talents as well. But just one of those things. You're just scrolling Twitter yesterday. I'm just going through, making sure I'm following all my Rockies news, this, that, and all that stuff. And then it's like, Zac Veen's in a hospital bed. Like, and not just, it's not like a routine. I mean, clearly surgery, you know what I mean? It's in a full, he's in the bed. He's got the gown. He's bandaged up. And you're just like, what? Really? This too? Like, out of everything, man, it's just so frustrating this year when it comes to injuries. The injuries have completely impacted this season. I don't think the poll didn't get any better for those that were curious, by the way, on my, if the Rockies were 100% healthy, would they be a wild card team? I believe only one or two other people joined in there. I believe it was still 90% say the Rockies were not a wild card team this year when healthy. But got to send our best to our guy, Zac Veen. Here's hoping, because he's certainly going to continue to be the list of prospects to watch, and is considered to be the Rockies' number one prospect. Always a moment where you'll hold your breath and you get a little nervous when your number one prospect goes down with an injury. But in a lost season, Zac Veen doing the surgery to get himself back to his the best production that he can do and get himself back to a true 100% for him. Hey, we're rooting for that, and we're all about it. Folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for joining us today for another week of Locked On Rockies. We'll be back in action on Monday for your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. You can find your team every day. If your team is the Colorado Rockies, you're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here, is talk about the Rockies each and every day. Thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Go make Locked On Broncos, Locked On Avalanche, or Locked On Nuggets your second listen of the day. Folks, until next time, this has been Paul Holden and saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.